AEW Fight Forever, it's getting a little bit of criticism internally. We're going to talk about that, some Easter eggs that are going to be in the game, and some new details that have just dropped. Let's get into all the news right now. So with Fight Forever, there's some goods, there's some criticisms, there's some stuff that's not good. Community is a little bit divided. Some people are just excited. I'm excited to play it. I love the gameplay style. I love that it's very arcadey, it's fast paced. There's a lot to like about this, but I can understand the other side where there are people that are saying, I'm not totally sold on it. It looks cartoonish. There's some people that are just not really into it. Fightful Select had a huge write-up regarding this, some of the Easter eggs, and some of the internal discussions surrounding the game, where it could be going in the future. And as we go through this, I need you guys to do me a huge favor. It's simple. You just help Matt out a little bit. All you gotta do, you just hit the like button and you subscribe to the channel, and then you get clips like this.
Dummy, yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about Fightful Select and their write-up regarding Fight Forever. The word is that AEW Executive Vice President Kenny Omega wanted the minigames to be put in Fight Forever. So this is the brainchild of Kenny Omega, the cleaner. He wanted to have all these little mini games that are going to be in there. If you guys know too, that you're going to be able to get the DLC along with mini games with each DLC drop. I'm kind of whatever about mini games, as long as they're not a huge component, and as long as they're not something I have to constantly do in career mode, then I think it'll be okay. And some people are really excited for the mini games. Others are a little critical. And speaking of critical, a bit of criticism in there with the game too. Fightful Select has reported that one internal criticism has to do with the limited creation suite, which was described as, quote, just simply isn't expansive, which I can kind of see. It's a smaller game. It's their first crack at a video game for AEW. And based on all the footage and everything we have seen, it does look like it's going to be a very stripped down, simple type of creation suite. We know that we're going to get Create an Arena, which I'm excited for. I'd love to be able to do Create an Arena. We'll be able to do tag team creations. We can create an entrance, but for the character creation aspect, it does sound like it's going to be very, very limited. Drop your comments below, your thoughts on Creation Suite. Is that something that you really care about for this game, or is it something that's just kind of an add-on for you? I do worry a little bit of how limited Creation Suite is going to be for players. It's not something I'm going to care about too much for a game like this, to be honest. I'm here to play with the AEW roster. I know a lot of people out there would really love to be able to dump in a bunch of creations for WWE characters, but I know that if it's limited, it's gonna rub some players the wrong way. Fightful Select also reported that there was also internal concerns over the repetitive clothing involved in the other story mode characters. So when you go through Road to Elite, their career mode, you're collecting all of that cash by doing mini games and side things and being able to have the matches, and you collect the cash so you can unlock things like t-shirts in the game and clothing apparel, so you can get like rare t-shirts, rare attires, epic attires, things like that. But based on this article, it sounds like it's gonna be very limited. When I hear that it's going to be limited and it's going to be repetitive, it sounds to me like we're gonna see a lot of the same stuff popping up that you are either going to unlock or that the in-game characters and NPCs are wearing throughout career mode. Now, it's a smaller game and it's a smaller experience, so I do expect it to be a little bit simple, smaller, and I don't expect the career mode to be this large, robust thing like a My Rise in 2K, where each respective story on the men and women's side is like 20 plus hours. But the articles continue to say that the developers reportedly faced some limitations in creating the story mode, but they did take input from the actual wrestlers involved. There were many people involved in the creative aspects of the game, and some wrapped up more than a year before the release. This kind of makes sense. At first glance, I was like, wow, people bailed off the creative team for support for this game really early on. But at the same token, this game has been in development for quite some time. It has been hit with delays. So maybe the wrestlers' involvement with the story mode, with the creation aspect, maybe it just wasn't necessary anymore and they didn't need to be involved because the game was essentially wrapped a long time ago and they've been dealing with things like the rating for the game and just trying to get it out. But I do worry that if you are going to have a Road to Elite career mode where things like your wrestlers' attributes are all tied to career mode, you have to do it that way. You can't up their attributes in exhibition or anywhere else. And if Road to Elite is extremely repetitive and you're unlocking the exact same things over and over again, that's not going to be enticing enough for players to come back multiple times to play it. That I think is going to be a real issue when this comes out. If it is going to be a very short experience for Road to the Elite, you can choose any character you want. That's great. It's probably gonna be fun the first time or two to be able to do it. But if we are seeing the same stuff coming out for clothing, for example, to unlock, then I think players are gonna lose the incentive to want to go back and do anything else in the mode. Now for Easter eggs, got some cool stuff in here too. Fightful reports that Fight Forever developers included a funny rib in the exploding barbed wire death match that occurred just a few years ago. There's apparently two options for this finish of the match. There's a huge, beautiful explosion in the barbed wire death match where all the fireworks, the pyro's going off, everything. There's also an Easter egg of a dud. So this was because of the Moxley Kenny Omega match that happened at Revolution 2021 and where nothing really went. Sparklers went off. That was cute. But it is cool that they're going to do things like this, put in little Easter eggs throughout the game. Fightful Select also writes that there's a number of Easter eggs in the game which include size-based characters and weapons, and some Easter eggs that the developers believe will be difficult for fans to find initially. I love stuff like that. To be able to find things for people online, to be able to point out that they added this or that, it's going to be really, really cool. For size-based characters and weapons, I understand the weapons thing. There's maybe going to be an option to have just jumbo weapons that are going to be the size of wrestlers in the game. That could be fun. You're going to pull out a barbed wire bat. Maybe it's going to be oversized in some cases. Maybe it's kind of random what you're going to select from either the crowd or under the ring. And that's going to make it silly and a lot of fun. We've seen recent footage too of like Jeff Hardy in a match with Andrade, which is great. I love Andrade. But we saw a recent match with them and you got like a lacrosse stick is thrown in there too. We know there's like grenades, there's a lot of explosions, there's a lot of silliness in the game. We know that AEW Fight Forever is going to be available across all platforms, including PC. Another piece that was confirmed out there are new reports saying that the game is going to be available on Steam Deck. So it's going to be available just on everything. The other interesting piece that came out from Fightful Select was regarding the game's development and what we could see in the future for the game. Now we've heard about this. It's been reported that Fight Forever is supposed to be like a platform, like a live service, and we're going to get DLC rolled out from now until like many years down the road. We're not going to get a new game released annually like they do on the 2K side, which I think is very refreshing. I'd rather have updated content, match types, new wrestlers, new content drops every single month, every quarter, whatever, and you build off of the base game as a platform. This may not be the case though. The word is that AEW retains the rights to the game engine in the event they change their minds in the future and want to release another game. This is coming over from Fightful Select. I wouldn't read too much into this. They have one game, they're about to launch it. They're not going to release another one next year. It might be that they're going to release Fight Forever 2 in 3 years from now. I think it's just always going to boil down to how does the game perform and how is the revenue and the sales? Are people buying this game day one, playing it for a very long period of time for more than 6 months or a year? Are they getting the season pass, the DLC? Is there a good amount of extra content that players want to get and want to buy? If there is, then there's gonna be some value in them maybe looking at the game and saying in 2-3 years, hey, we should really be working on our next console game and trying to improve it and maybe have a larger budget to work with to make an even better experience. One thing that excites me is going to be just the roster and how many stars we are actually getting at release date, because more and more just keep getting confirmed every day as we get closer and closer to the game coming out. One star that was revealed was by Macho T Online, who revealed Jeff Hardy. We already knew that Jeff Hardy was going to be in the game according to the roster screenshots that we saw, but we got his full entrance here. I say full entrance, it's like a couple of seconds, right? But his character model does look good. Jeff Hardy's going up in a match against Andrade, which is awesome to see as well. And a really cool little Easter egg that they did add in here from Macho T showed off is going to be the glitched LED screen. So you can kind of break the stage here, which is cool. If you do any moves going up against the LED screen, then it's going to go all fuzzy and glitch out. And these are fun little additions to the game. And I hope there's going to be enough in the game for players to want to come back month after month to be able to try and find these Easter eggs, do the exploding barbed wire death match, make it good, make it bad. But I'm going to be very curious to know where we're going to be at with this game in 6 months to a year.